Hermas Academy. Power of patience, continence, and faith. We teach virtues.
This video covers a Bible study of an excerpt from an apocryphal book called the Shepherd of Hermas. This portion of the book, verses 96 through 104 of the third vision, is where Hermas receives a message to relate to the elect children of the Most High. This class covers that message.
Hear me therefore, O sons. I have bred you up in much simplicity and innocency and modesty, for the love of God which has dropped down upon you in righteousness, that you should be sanctified and justified from all sin and wickedness, but you will not cease from your evil doings.
So basically what it's saying here is that he bred us up. He has brought us along this far. You know, a lot of people can reference back to a time in their life where the Lord touched them and they knew that his hand was on their life, and they reference that point. And they say, well, you know, this says that the Lord is with me because he, you know, did some act in the past. Well, the reason why he's done that is because he's been rearing you up. He's been raising you up for, you know, for what he has in store for you ahead.
Think about the words that he used is simplicity, innocent, and modesty. These are simple things that that we all, we all aim for.
And in the book we find that these are some of those virtues that we learn about, right? That's modesty and innocency, simplicity. Those are some of the virtues that that Hermas is asked to take on. Right. So, and that's what the like I said, we learn a lot about that in similitudes, which we'll have a class on that coming up later. But now it's just this little portion of this book is very important that she said to come out, and talking about the church, said to come out and give to the people. So that's what we're doing here. It says, for the love of God, which has dropped down upon you in righteousness, that you shall be sanctified and justified from all sin and wickedness. Okay, so, you know, he's trying to sanctify us, to purify us, to make us, you know, holy, a separated people, but we will not cease from our evil doings.
He's trying to clean us up, but we continue to get dirty. Right,
especially us, the Hebrew people. When you look at us throughout the Bible, it's like we are inclined to get dirty. It's like we want to get dirty. Right? I mean, it's every opportunity we get to go to around the neighbors and pick up their unclean habits, we do so.
Now therefore hearken unto me, and have peace one with another, and visit one another, and receive one another, and do not enjoy the creatures of God alone.
You got to remember the Lord's message is a harmonial state between his children. He doesn't want anybody to be isolated. He doesn't want you to be there at your house with your stuff and you know, it's just you. No, he's saying to get out and visit with one another. Actually go to sit and talk, you know, with the brethren. When people come to visit you, receive them. You know, Stacy, you're really good at that. You know, you'll pretty much shut down everything when you have a visitor. You know, like burn dinner or, you know, whatever, you know, to entertain your guests.
Well, I listened to and I don't remember what book you were listening to the other day, where it said that we are not supposed to be alone as if we are righteous, you know, as if we're the only one that's righteous, you know, in the world, that we're supposed to get out and talk to people and hope that they will receive this message.
Well, one of the things we find out in Hermas is that if we do that, if we do find ourselves isolated from the saints or, you know, other people, we'll find ourselves with what Hermas calls rough, or what the Shepherd of Hermas calls rough. Talking about that. And then this next part says, do not enjoy the creatures of God alone.
Now, what does that mean?
That's talking about meat. You know, there's a lot of people here that have, you know, farms, and they have, you know, lots of cow, lots of beef, lots of sheep, lots of pork, you know, which is unclean animal, of course, but they have it. And then there's other people who are hungry.
and they don't share. So he's telling us here to be hospitable about it and give to others.
Right. There's only, if you think about it, there's only 4% of America are actually hunters. Actually can get out in the woods and hunt. And so there will come a time when these people will be providing the meat, you know, and he wants them, you know, to not hoard it or, you know, keep it, but actually share it. And that's one thing we tried this year. Our first deer, we gave it away to the widows, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And you know, how did it work out for us?
Oh my goodness, it was like y'all was dropping deer at our front door.
Yeah, it's like we would go out to get one deer, and we came home with 3 times in a row. So we got 7 deer total. The first one we gave away, and like you said, they dropped at our door. We got 3 that we 3 plus 3 that we shot, and 3 that was dropped at the door. So
Right. Mm-hmm.
and
Give freely to them that are in need, for some by too free feeding contract an infirmity in their flesh, and do injury to their bodies, while the flesh of others who have not food withers away, because they want sufficient nourishment, and the bodies are consumed.
right. So give freely to them that are in need, for by too free feeding, meaning you eat too much.
Right.
By, you know, we got all of this abundance of food, well, we should share it, because when we eat too much, we contract the infirmities of the food. We get sick, basically. He's saying that there's some people that are eating so much that they're making themselves sick. And that's not hard to believe, is it?
Not at all. When America is have like really, you know, obese people for themselves.
He said, while the flesh of others who have not food withers away. Right? But there's a lot of people that's hungry out here.
Mm-hmm.
You know? If you think about it, when the food budget is not the highest priority in a lot of people's lives. It's not as high a priority as you think. You know, we get our paychecks, and you know, we start paying bills. You know, and you know, we go grocery shopping, and then at the end of the month, the bills may be all paid, but the refrigerator is a little bit empty. You know,
That's happened to us before, yeah.
You know, so there are some people that are hungry, that are, you know, out there, you know, slaving. You know, there's still people that are hungry, and then, you know, of course, there's the people who try to make the transition from the slave world to the kingdom of Yah, and you know, they are really hungry.
Yeah. This is true.
And so
Because they're waiting for the crops to grow, and you know, there's a season for the crops to grow.
And plus, you have to go through the punishment periods. You
Right.
know, what he say in Deuteronomy? I can't remember the verse where he talks about, you know, putting hunger on us to prove us. You know, kind of.
Right, when they were in the wilderness. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Wherefore, this intemperance is hurtful to you, who have and do not contribute to them that want. Prepare for the judgment that is about to come upon you.
Now, this is a warning. We're still in the early stages of this Hermas book here in Vision 3. We haven't really gotten ourselves built up to hear from an angel like it's explained to us later on in the book. So this is kind of a little warning that's saying, you know, it's not as strong as it's going to come across later on. People that are hoarding and not sharing. What does he say? If somebody cries out and the Lord's hearing, you're in trouble.
Right.
It says, prepare for the judgment which is about to come upon you. So giving is important. That's the number one thing that a sinner can do. And I bring that up to say that's probably the one thing that helped us, where the Lord actually looked on us and gave us another chance.
Right.
You know, kind of, you know, say, hey, are you serious about, you know, this path that you're on? And we was not being sure what path we were on. We're like, what are you talking about? And we find out that, you know, the Bible speaks of a different path, a path of righteousness and holiness that leads to blessings, you know, and he kind of led us to that. All right.
Ye that are the more eminent, search out them that are hungry, whilst the tower is yet unfinished. For when the tower shall be finished, ye shall be willing to do good, and shall not find any place in
Okay.
it.
Now, what is this tower they're talking about? This is the first time. Some people, this may be the first thing they done heard about Hermas, the Shepherd of Hermas, and they're like, I don't know about no tower.
Well, this is the tower that's later on in the book of similitude, right?
Right. This is the tower that the Lord is building that consists of his people. We are the similitude of stones that are put into the tower. We are different variations, different colors, different shapes, and we all have to be molded and shaped in order to fit into his tower. And if we don't yield to the changes necessary to be placed in his tower, then we find ourselves outside of the tower. And a lot of people can find themselves in the tower if they start giving. That's what this message is saying. Okay, you can start giving. That's the first thing you can start doing, is start giving.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's part of the rule. That's probably the number one thing anybody, because you can do it now.
You can do it now because it's saying that there's going to have to be a time when you can't give.
Yeah. Well, see, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of things you can do, according to Hermas, to try to get on the right path. You can get baptized, you can read the Bible, you can do a lot. You can study Hermas, you can teach Hermas, you can do a lot of stuff. But giving, you can do it right now. You can actually go out on the street right now and find somebody to give something to.
Mm-hmm.
You can find a widow, even if it's your grandma, and give her something. You know what I mean? You can find, a fatherless child, somebody, who has a child, or you can find a Levite. Finding a Levite may be a little harder. You don't really know who they are. But, you can find a homeless person or a stranger, somebody to give, and the Lord will see that. And that's really important to him.
Yeah, and so, a lot of times people think, well, I don't have no extra money to give. Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be money. You can give time. A lot of people just, an older person at the nursing home, just somebody to sit with. You know what I'm saying? To give time or give, your labor or your...
Well, yeah, I slow you down because you have to remember what this thing is all about. It's about the food. It's going to come down to the food.
It's going to come down to the food. Okay.
So you come over here and sit with me and you hungry too, that ain't going to do us no good. You need to bring some groceries with you. You know what I'm saying? Take the time to go back to your cupboards and look through and find that canned food that you ain't going to eat and bring it over here.
Right. Okay. All right. I understand.
So when the tower shall be finished, ye shall be willing to do good and shall not find any place in it. Meaning, we're going to be trying to help somebody, or once we realize, hey, the Lord likes giving, then we need to find somebody to give, and it's like you ain't going to got nobody to give,
Mm-hmm.
And so you're not going to be able to reap those benefits then. So he's saying get them now while you have.
Beware therefore, ye that glory in your riches, lest perhaps they groan who are in want, and their sighing come up unto God, and ye be shut out with your goods without the gate of the tower.
Those who glory in your riches, that's a lot of people. We're trained and taught to glory in our riches, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We spend all of our time acquiring our riches. We spend a lot of time maintaining our riches and counting our riches, and then we enjoy our riches. That's a big part of our life. But he's talking about those that take glory in them. You go to people and you say, oh, we need to learn to grow food and all that, and they look at somebody, I'll just go to Walmart and buy me some food. That to me will sound like glorying in your riches. Like, I can just go buy me another.
Mm-hmm.
Like the guy one time, I said, man, that sound under your car, I can't remember what the sound was, but it was like, that sound under your car sounds like trouble. If you don't get it fixed, it's gonna break. And
what did he say? I'll just go buy me another
I'll just buy me another. Just buy me another car. If this one, they got a more where this one came from. They ain't gonna say who that was. My dad might get mad at me. All right.
Behold, I now warn you who are set over the church and love the highest seat. Be not like unto those that work mischief.
Okay, now he's pointing at those at the top of the sheets. He's talking to kind of all of us now. Now he's pointing to the preachers, the pastors, and the prophets. Called the 3 Ps.
And they indeed carry about the poison in boxes, but yet contain your poison and infection in your heart, and will not purge them, and mix your sense with a pure heart, that ye might find mercy with the great King.
See, he's saying, don't be like, those. Let's go. Let's look at that verse again. Be not ye like unto those that work mischief, and they indeed carry about their poison in boxes. Okay. So it's talking about how they carry theirs in boxes, but he's saying you carry yours in your heart. Look, but you contain your poison and infection in your hearts.
And will not purge them.
Yeah, because and these poison and infections is this Gentile-ish doctrine, this church doctrine that's not consistent or not in correlation with the biblical doctrine. And when there's a choice to be made on which one takes precedence, is it the church or is it the Bible? A lot of times you find, that our pastors would choose the church doctrine over the Bible doctrine. And I mean, I understand that. I understand why. It's because if they don't, we'll fire them. We'll get rid of them. Right? But it says you won't mix your sense with a pure heart, that you may find mercy with the great King. And we know that the Bible talks very poorly about the 3 P's. The Lord says they're pretty much they're pretty much going to be found in an unfavorable light during the tribulation. All right, let's go on. You got quiet.
You always get quiet when I start jumping on them pastors.
No, I was trying to think what I know it's pastors and prophets. I was trying to think what the other P was.
Preachers.
Preachers, okay.
3 P's.
Okay. Take heed, my children, that your dissensions deprive you not of your lives. How will you instruct the elect of God when you yourselves want correction? Wherefore, admonish one another, and be at peace among yourselves, that I, standing before your Father, may give an account unto you. Give an account of you unto the Lord.
So, and this is the last verse. So it says, my children, that the dissensions deprive you not of your lives, meaning, death is not guaranteed, especially in the time we live in now. Immortality is an option. I'm just telling you what the words say, and that's a lot of reason why, people, our pastors and our preachers do not tell us the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, is because it's going to come across as crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your pastor come and tell you that immortality is an option. What you going to look at him? What you going to say?
Yeah.
You ain't gonna die, Pastor. I didn't say that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I'm immortal. I'm just saying that the Bible speaks of immortality all the way through it. It ties death to sin. And if you can somehow separate yourself from sin, you have separated yourself from death. I mean, literally.
Well, you have to go back to Genesis and, before Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
When they sinned, they took the option away from themselves.
Right.
Immortality.
You gave up that. And so people say, well, Coach in the Fight said he gonna live forever. I didn't say I was. I'm old dog. I'm Generation X. I got plenty of curses on me, that might not let it be the grace of the Father if He let me see the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? But for our babies, my grandbabies and my great grandbabies, shoot, I teach them that you ain't gonna die. You ain't gonna die. Why? Because your millennial age, there's no way the tribulation is going to be here before you get, is not going to be here before you get the ripe old age. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see the tribulation. You know what I'm saying? If you make it through, you live forever. It says, how will ye instruct the elect of God when ye yourselves want correction? Now this to me is huge. This right here has been a personal thing with me because of the church. The way the church works now is you have people that who are promoted by man, and I don't interfere with their thing or try to be jealous of their seat or anything like that. But it's just it's just nerve-wracking when you go into a church and there's a person who's standing in front of you who's saying that he's giving you the word, but what he's giving you is not the word of God, but the word of the Reverend Pastor Deacon Dr. Doug. And it don't match up. And then you start to think about it, you know, you listen to this guy, and he's been saved for 3 years. And he's never read the entire Bible. In fact, he's only read 1 or 2 of the Gospels and a few other books in the New Testament, and hasn't gotten around to the Old Testament at all. But he's been promoted to an elder of the church, and he expects you to teach. And every church I've went into, every church I've gone into, every one of them wanted me to sit under them. They wanted to be my pastor. So here you got a person who's basically a milk baby as far as the word of God is concerned. He just happened to have a position in the church, and he wants me to sit under him. And I'm like, man, I've been with the Lord for 30, I've been with the Lord for 30 years. I've been a Bible scholar for 20 years. And, I'm having a hard time sitting under you, and I ain't been able to. I don't think I was ever really supposed to, but it was just game. All right, we're going to end it there, y'all.
It's a good question.
This is the Shepherd of Hermas coming out of Vision 3, talking about the commands. We're going to play it for you, I believe, if we can get it put here. Look in the description for some links, where to get the Shepherd of Hermas, online and offline, and audio versions, and different stuff like that.
And we want you guys to remember to comment and share, give us a like. It encourages us to continue more content like this.
Well, not only does it encourage, but like when you leave a comment, the YouTube algorithms are set up to promote content, promote videos that have comments. And the reason why is because the people who are leaving the comments are helping the other viewers to navigate between what's good to watch and what's not. And so when the YouTube algorithm see comments or likes and stuff like that, it kind of starts to promote it to other people. So we don't ask you for money here at Hermas Academy. You may notice in our ministry we've never asked you for anything, right?
Right.
We've never asked for donations, tithes. We never sent around a collection.
Never.
We've been in this for 3 years. But we are asking you to push the like button. So instead of sending us, your donations, leave a comment. Even if your comment just says first or second or I hated it or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Leave something, you know what I'm saying? I found an error at 6 minutes, whatever. Well, we're going to let you guys go.
Shalom.
Hey, Yahushua HaMashiach is YHVH. Before I let you guys get away, let me let you listen to these verses in the version that's commonly found on YouTube. I have a link to it in the description. It's only a few minutes long, so check it out. I'll leave it with you. Shalom.
My children, listen to me. I brought you up in great simplicity and innocence and reverence because of the Lord's mercy. He instilled righteousness into you, that you might be justified and sanctified from all wickedness and all perversity. But you did not wish to desist from your wickedness. Now, therefore, listen to me. Be at peace with one another. Look after one another. Bear each other's burdens. Furthermore, do not partake of God's creatures superabundantly alone, but also give a share to those who have less. For some people, from the abundance of their food, bring on sickness to their flesh and weaken it, while others, who do not have food, are weakened in the flesh from lack of sufficient food, and their body is ruined. Therefore, this failure to share is harmful to you who have abundance and fail to distribute to those who are needy. Give heed to the judgment that is to come. Seek out those who are hungry as long as the tower is not yet finished, you who have a superabundance. For after the completion of the tower, you will be wishing to do good and will not have an opportunity. Now then, you who pride yourselves on your wealth, take care lest the indigent groan at any time, and their groan mount up to the Lord, and you and your goods shall be shut out from the door of the tower. At this point it is to you, the elders of the church, and to those in the first seats that I speak. Do not be like poisoners. They carry their poison in boxes, whereas you carry venom and poison in your hearts. You are hardened and do not wish to cleanse your hearts. You do not wish to mix together your wisdom in a clean heart, that you may obtain mercy from the great King. Watch then, my children, lest these dissensions deprive you of your life. How do you expect to discipline the elect of the Lord if you have no discipline yourselves? Therefore, discipline yourselves and live in peace with one another, that I, for my part, may take my stand before the Father and joyfully give an account of you to your Lord.
Now, when she finished speaking with me, the 6 young men who were builders came and took her to the tower, while 4 others took up the couch and also brought it to the tower. I did not see their faces because they were turned away from me. As she was departing, I asked her to give me a revelation about the 3 forms in which she had appeared to me.
Hermas Academy. Power, patience, continence, and faith. We teach virtue.